So here's how I made Palak Paneer, which is also called spinach paneer. We start by making our own paneer, which is Indian cheese. I bought some whole milk, which felt weird because I very rarely buy whole regular milk. I poured it all into this big pot and I brought it up to a boil. Once it reached the boil, I turned the heat down and then I slowly added in vinegar. Now what this does is it helps the cheese to curdle and you start to separate the curds from the whey. You can see it start forming there. I added in some lemon juice. And now you can really see how it's separating. This is a really similar process to making homemade ricotta. Now, to a bowl, I put a colander on top of a bowl and then put my cheesecloth on top of that. And then I'm going to dump my mixture in here and let it drain. You save the whey. You can use that in lots of different uses for cooking. So don't throw the whey away. That was hard to say. I'm rhyming everything. Anyway, okay, I gotta stop. You pour that in there and squeeze off the excess. And you tie it up into a bundle, and I hung it from my kitchen sink to let all of that excess moisture drip out. I let that hang there for about 20 minutes and then you flatten it out as best as you can between two plates. And here it is in my fridge. You'll see I have my leftovers on top of it to help press it down, and you leave it in there for at least an hour. And then once it comes out, it will have formed into this Indian cheese paneer. How cool is that? So for this preparation, I'm going to take my homemade cheese and cut it into chunks. I was very happy that this cheese worked out. This was my first time ever trying it. Here's what it looks like all cut up. And then you just put that off to the side till you're ready to eat. Now I'm going to make homemade naan, which I also hadn't done before this, so this was quite an experiment. I have water and sugar here. And to that I'm adding some instant yeast. And here is some flour. To the flour, I'm adding salt. For these recipes, and there's some baking powder. I looked around on the internet and just kind of made my version of all of the different recipes that I saw. So this isn't necessarily one specific recipe, but I will link some below that can be reference points for you. So I poured in the yeast, water, sugar mixture into the flour and then added a little bit of olive oil and just mixed this together with a fork until it was a shaggy dough. Poured that out onto the counter, oiled up my hands, and then just kneaded this until it came together into a nice soft dough. And then into an oiled bowl, I let this sit for at least an hour, covered, obviously. Then I came back to it and flattened it out, and now we're going to portion it into 8 somewhat equal portions, although it definitely wasn't precise. Roll these out into oval shapes. Or whatever shape that is. I feel like they don't have to look perfect. It makes them look cooler. Oh, there I ripped one, but you can see it's easy to just mend it, patch it back up. Then I got my cast iron pan really hot and set the dough in there. You'll see the bubbles start to form. I let these go on for a couple minutes on each side. And as they were coming out of the pan, my boyfriend was dressing them with some melted butter and garlic and some herbs. Look at those beautiful bubbles. And you just take them off the heat, brush the butter and herbs onto them, and then keep them warm in a towel until you're ready to eat. Don't they look beautiful? They turned out pretty good for my first time making them. Okay, now we're going to make the sauce, the spinach sauce. So it starts with a bunch of diced jalapeno. To that, I added some cashews. And then an entire container of frozen spinach that I had thawed out, pretty much all the way thawed out. Then move that into a blender with a little bit of water and puree that until smooth. And there's what that looks like. And just keep that ready for later. Back to the hot pan, I added in 1 diced red onion, a bunch of ginger and garlic, tomato, some salt. Let this simmer down. I did end up adding a little bit of water to this, and then you add in garam masala. I got mine from Penzeys. It's really yummy flavor. And you let that all simmer and come together. I covered it and let it simmer for about 30 minutes. Then I took the lid off and I added my blended spinach into it. So that's what you see here, is the spinach mixture together with the kind of like curry that I made. Now here is the paneer, the cheese. My boyfriend seared off some pieces. We wanted to try that out, see what that was like. It was very good. So this is his plate. We're plating up some seared cheese and then some of the fresh cheese. And then on top of that, we will pour the spinach mixture. I loved this dish. It was so flavorful, and scooping it up with that homemade naan, oh, it was so good. I really highly recommend trying this out. Now here's how I plated mine up. I put the sauce down first and then I put my cheese on top. I don't think it really makes that much of a difference. They just taste really, really good together, and especially with the garlicky, herby naan. There's my little piece of toasted cheese. That was a good call. I am definitely going to be looking for this on menus in the future because I don't think I've ever had it before, and I really enjoyed it. And I highly recommend trying out making your own cheese as well, if you have the time, because it was really satisfying and really fun. There's a little up close. All in all, I would say that it was a success and 2 thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you later.